woke up that morning of September 8, 2011 in Santorini, Greece, facing what looked like a snow-capped mountain. But they turned out to be housing structures built right on top of the rocky cliff.
Positioned at the moment is very, very deep. It's way too deep to be able to safely anchor. There's one anchorage in Santorini, and it looks like today the Costa ship, the other cruise ship, will get that one. They anchor on a little mountain peak in the middle of the caldera here to hold the ship in this position. We don't actually anchor the ship, we have to use the engines and the ship's thrusters all day long.
Our ship is in position, and the local tender boats ready and patiently waiting to load up cruise passengers to take them ashore to the port. It was a pretty sight to see as the sailboats approached for the sailing excursions. I could see the locals going down the hill to welcome us, or take some of us to show us around town. Some locals and fishing boats transfer cruisers to the old port. From there, it's a choice to either use the cable car to reach the town of Fira, take the adventures of riding a donkey, or walk to climb up the path on the cliff to Fira. Meanwhile, some cruise passengers had the early start of sailing away, while the other cruise ship unloads passengers to visit the island of Santorini. Things started to get busy by the minute as the morning progressed, and everyone anticipating to get ashore while we waited for our turn in the Princess Theater. Santorini is one of the great natural wonders of the world, and its main attraction is the landscape and seascape of the island itself. I sat in front of the boat to get a good view of where we're heading. Santorini has two ports, the old port that is only for cruise travelers, and the Artemius Port for ferry and commercial boats. Our docking place to meet our tour bus ride was at the Artemius Port in the area of Burgas. Artemius is the main port of Santorini, so it gets much more tourism traffic in the summer. Ferries dock at this port where buses and taxis meet its arrival to transport passengers to Iya, Fira, and elsewhere. All vehicles climb up a very steep winding road that makes several 180-degree turns to get anywhere from Artemius. I can feel the excitement even after boarding the bus with the introductions from our designated tour guide.
Good afternoon, Kalispera. My name is Dimitra, and our coach driver's name, a very rare name in Greece, Yorgos. George. Yorgos is leading us up to the top of the cliffs of the Caldera. On our way to the southern part of the island, our first stop will be in the area of Acrotiri. Just to explain a few things.
This island looks very rocky, as I noticed on our ride way up to the highest point of the Santorini island. I could see different layers of volcanic rocks as we approached the top. From up here, our ship looked like a small boat. This ride may not be for those who are afraid of height, but that would be too late now. On this summer day, we explored the villages and towns of Santorini, discovered the beautiful countryside, and experienced the vistas from its geological wonders. Santorini looks like a desert island with scattered buildings and residential areas, and I saw very few trees as we drove around and passed through the villages and vineyard plantations over some dry lands. The island has no natural source of fresh water. Access to fresh water is mostly provided by a local desalination plant.
And now, passing through the village of Megalochori. It's a very long village, though, that's why it was given the name of Megalochori, constructed in an area.
Finally, our first stop was a viewpoint. Everyone got off and was very eager to see the best views overlooking the other islands and the other side of Santorini. White is the favorite color here and seems to blend well with the surroundings. From here, there were plenty of rocks and really amazing and awesome views of the Santorini Caldera, formed 3,500 years ago after a monumental volcanic explosion in the Aegean Sea. Nearby was what appears to be an abandoned windmill structure, or maybe something else.
The wine. Follow me to show you the area of the wine, free time to enjoy the views, and back to the bus in half an hour.
Our next stop was just long enough for a quick break and little taste of cheese, olive, tomatoes, and very rock-hard bread that mostly ended up in the trash. There's plenty of wine for tasting. White wine and sweet wine, or soda if we like.
Yes. I'm gonna try the sweet one.
Before our 30-minute time ran out, we busied ourselves taking pictures to cover every viewpoint from the Artemius Port where we started. The seemingly bare islands, the mountain cliffs, the volcano, and the famous caldera of Santorini. I walked around a little bit looking for the best viewpoints for pictures. Then I spent the rest of our time snapping away pictures for souvenirs and enjoying the beautiful and amazing views of the Aegean Sea and overlooking our cruise ship far ahead. Santorini is a volcanic island in the Cyclades group of Greek islands. This place really provides a perfect view of the first thing I would want to see when I wake up in the morning.
Bacchus, according to the ancient Greek mythology, was the name is Burgas. Burgas in Greek means tower, and it is a name given to this village because of the medieval castle on the top of the hill. It was a castle constructed during a time that the main problem of the islands of the central Aegean Sea were the pirates. Have you heard of Barbarossa?
After passing through the village of Burgas, our next stop was at the highest point on the island at 2,000 feet above sea level, the mountain of Prophet Elijah, and where the panoramic views from the top seemed to go on forever. This viewpoint was a bit crowded when we arrived, and almost everyone wants to get the best views from here. It was worth the walk up for the best views of this side of the island, which also overlooks the airport of Santorini below.
Of course, you saw, look at that, on your right you can see the airport of Santorini. It's the smallest it can be, but it's international. My flight.
On the way down, we got a closer look of the village of Burgas, some close-up views of the agricultural lands and the housing architectures, and a short glimpse of the traditional market for gifts and souvenirs. It's a good day for tourists to visit and walk around.
The people abandoned a village known as Mesagonia, just on the right at the moment, on the feet of the mountain of Prophet and they moved just by the coast.
Passing the other villages, we took notes of the houses painted in the same color before we ended up at our next stop for picture taking of a small church. There are over 250 churches in Santorini. These are the beautiful whitewashed blue dome buildings. They obviously play a significant role in the lives of the Greek people. At our next stop, we had time for 10 minutes at the seaside and cosmopolitan resort area of the village of Kamari. We walked to the black sand beach to see and feel the more relaxed seaside atmosphere and a brief opportunity to walk around and capture the views in photographs. As we approached the conclusion of our tour, I decided to get off at the town of Fira for a walk, while the others decided to continue on and go back to the port of Artemius for the return to the ship.
Anybody else?
Our guide distributed our complimentary cable car tickets, followed by the final instructions on how to get to the cable car station.
The three ways that can lead you down to the old port: no bus, no taxi. You have to walk for about 30 to 40 minutes from the area where we can stop, and then about 2 minutes with the cable car down to the old port of the island. You could walk, if you wish, about 600 steps to the port as well. It means an extra half an hour walking, or you can just remain on the bus, but if you're returning back to Artemius, that's your choice.
I was finally on my own to freely explore the town of Fira, the capital of Santorini, and the main transport hub of the island. Here, I found the traditional Santorini architecture and the white cobblestone streets bustling with shops, tavernas, hotels, and cafes. It offers some of the greatest view to the volcano and the famous caldera of Santorini. A view from the top provides white and pastel-colored homes and churches, seemingly stacked on top of each other. Many of these traditional homes are built on cliffside caves. On this day, Fira was crowded with tourists. All kinds of souvenirs were for sale: hats, handbags, shirts, and more. And on one side, some bargaining was going on. I also made a little detour to find a supermarket selling fruits and vegetables. At the completion of my time in Fira, I took a steep walk to the upper portion to meet the aerial cable car, our transportation to meet our tender boat at the old port, 900 feet below the cliff. I would have gotten down faster if I just walked down the zigzagging and winding steps. The line to the cable car had gotten too long, but a couple of young enterprising kids kept us entertained. With the cable car ride, we were down at the port in a couple of minutes, but the ride gave us a slow-moving and interesting view of the cliff and the winding steps, and a glimpse of the donkeys waiting to take anyone up or down the cliff.
Doesn't look like it's bad walking down.
Is that where you walk down? When you know.
Yeah, that's walking down there.
It was the end of our visit to the island of Santorini, and it's time to get back to the ship. Boat excursions were arriving, and others were just departing to start their new sailing tours as we waited for our local tender. And I thought of what we may discover at our next port of call.